Hi everybody, Dominic Esposito, the drill instructor. Welcome to the clinic. And as a follow-up from last week's clinic, we've got some questions with regard to jumping. And it was more along the line of, yeah, but if I can't make that jump with my playing cue, and we're not allowed to use jump cues, or I don't have a jump cue, please tell me how I can get around the ball. So we're talking about Masse. And what are the formulas for Masse? I wrote those many years ago. I'm going to show them to you tonight. In the meantime, we want to say thanks to our sponsors, Pool and Billiard Magazine, Diamond Billiard Products, Dr. Harrison for my fantastic pool glasses, and all the rest of you. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Okay, let's get started. Now, we've covered Masse before, and it's important for you to recognize there are three essential parts to Masse. Number one, the speed you shoot the cue ball at. Number two, the actual English, the side that you put on the cue ball. And number three, it's the elevation that you hold your cue stick at. So point number one, we're going to look at speed. Every Masse shot should be shot effectively with a 5-speed shot stroke. Now, if you'll remember shot speeds, if you have the cue ball at this end of the table, every half table is 1 shot speed zone. So a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5. So the simple way to remember shot speed is if you lag the cue ball to win the break, that's a 4-speed. And you're going to go 1 more half table, 5. So as often as you need to practice, just come down, keep the ball about a half a ball off the rail, and then give yourself the opportunity to hit the shot, come back down table, go back up table, and to get the cue ball to stop within the zone from this diamond to this diamond. This is the full zone of the 5-speed shot stroke. And yes, that was a great 5-speed shot right there for you. So if you're going to use your speed zones for other types of shots, I'm always talking about how to quantify speed. There's no such thing as hit it easy, hit it soft, hit it medium. That's ridiculous. You need to quantify speed. And when I tell you a 5-speed shot stroke, 5-speed is 5-speed, period. Now, the next thing I want to teach you is the English. When you actually are going to shoot a Masse shot, always use two tips of English. The best way and the simplest way to teach you that is take a striped ball, okay, like this 15 ball I've got here. This is one of my old beautiful Centennial balls, okay, made by Brunswick, okay. So if you will take a look at the beauty of this ball and you see where the stripe is, right at the line of the stripe is 2 tips of English. So when you're going to practice Masse, I suggest use a striped ball, turn the stripe perfectly vertical, and then aim directly at the cut line of the paint between the white and that particular color. So just take your stripes and set those vertical and use those. So right down here, just off the rail, just a few inches. That ball is perfectly vertical. For practice purposes, that's my cue ball. Okay, that's number 2. You're always going to aim at right at the split of where the color and the white is. That solves the English. So you have a 5-speed shot stroke, 2 tips of English, and when I wrote the formulas for Masse many years ago, I made it simple by making sure that out of the 3 variables, 2 of them are the same all the time. Shot speed and English. So 5-speed, 2 tips of English. Whether you're going to Masse 1 diamond, 2 diamonds, 3 diamonds, or 4 diamonds on the table. Now what is going to vary is the elevation of the cue. This is the part you're going to have to understand. 1 diamond of Masse, so if I'm going to use that cue ball and I'm going to get around this object ball here and I need to pocket, we're going to say, this striped ball into the corner. Now, in order to get away with this, one of the key things that you need to do is you always have to allow yourself 2 balls of distance to pass the object ball that you're getting around. You're probably going to track on the actual path that you could see here as my cue ball. That would be this cue ball shooting straight and then going around. So leave yourself at least 2 balls from the object ball to give yourself enough variable space so you don't run into that ball. Then the third element is the cue elevation. For 1 diamond, you're going to use a 30-degree elevation. So take your peace sign, turn it sideways, keep your middle finger flat, and there's your elevation for 30 degrees. And that 30 degrees is going to simply get that ball around 1 diamond. Now, if you're going to go to 2 diamonds, let me move these out of the way. You're going to go to 2 diamonds of Masse. You say, well, how do you know it's 1 diamond? How do you know if it's 2 diamonds? And that's a great question. So let me show you how the answer to that really works. If I were going to make this 1 diamond of Masse from this point here, now that cue ball is right in the path, so I'm going to move it. But when you're aiming your Masse shot, always aim dead straight ahead. Now I'm putting this here so you can actually see this. This is the cue ball path for 1 diamond of Masse. From that position, if here's my cue ball to start, I'm going to get around my 2 ball variance. So when you're aiming, always aim perfectly straight ahead. On the cue ball track, that's going to be the 2 balls from the ball you have to get around. And from that position here to the target destination, then you can determine how many diamonds of Masse are you trying to make. So this is 1 diamond of Masse. Let's go ahead and take 2 diamonds of Masse. So this would be the cue ball path. This would be the track I need to get around. I'm still shooting from here. And that's what the path would look like when I'm standing back here and I'm estimating, okay, I need to go 2 diamonds of Masse. I'm aiming straight ahead. Then the same is going to be true for 3 diamonds of Masse. So here is my shot track for the cue ball. Here's my position. I'm getting around these balls here. And here becomes the path for 3 balls of Masse. And then, as you could well imagine, 4 diamonds of Masse, I'm actually going to be shooting straight ahead. That's what I need to get around. There's the cue ball. Now, here comes the elevation part. So you should have your notes out already. Taking notes, I gave you plenty of time to get your notebooks out. For 1 diamond of Masse uses, I gave you already, a 30-degree elevation. There it is. That's 30 degrees right there. 5-speed shot stroke, 2 tips of English. 2 diamonds of Masse is, ready? 45 degrees. You go from 30 degrees to 45 degrees. 45 degrees is the elevation for 2 tips of English. Then, okay, you should pretty well be able to figure this out by now. You're all geniuses. If you had 30 and then you went to 45, in order to go 3 full diamonds, you're going to go, good class, 60. 60 degrees. So take 30, 30 more, And there you have it. You have 30, 45, 60 degrees. That's what you're looking at. Don't just be jacking up in the air like this because that's what you see on TV. Trick shots, trick shot masse, that's a totally different application than play shot masse. Okay, 75 degrees. There it is. Write your notes. 4 diamonds. So you're going up by 15 degrees each time. You're going 30, 45, 60, 75. And 75 degrees. Okay, this is 90. This was 60. That's 75. Right there in between. You have 30, 45, 60, 75. And that's going to take you from 4 full diamonds. Now, last part I want to go over. Not everything is the full length of the table. Sometimes you only need to masse a shot that is half the table. So here's where I got to go. Okay, what happens in this case? And I've got to get around this guy's ball and masse the 11. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look. Once again, for those of you, make your notes, get your measurements. Because we know the table, the pool table is twice as long as it is wide, the same thing is going to apply to the mathematical calculations for masse. We're still going to use 5-speed shot stroke. We're still going to use 2 full tips of English. But we're going to have to change the actual positions that we apply our 30, 45, 60, and 75 elevations. And they're going to look like this. Let me get a couple of extra cue balls out so that I can help with this. And I've got some of them right here. Give me a second, and this will help you. So, you're going to say, okay, well, Dom, do I actually shoot 1 diamond? The same? No, it's half the value. So if it's half the value, then half a diamond. Okay? So half a diamond is 30 degrees. 1 full diamond, 45 degrees. 1.5 diamonds, 60 degrees. And 2 full diamonds, 75 degrees. So when you have the measurement and you have to get over the ball, you have to get around these shots here to pocket. You say, well, I don't quite understand because look, each of those are straight ahead. But you have to remember, you have to have your ghost variance in order to get around that shot. You see, remember, you need to have your one ball of clearance so that this ball has some room to vary. The same is going to be true when you're going to go for 2 diamonds. If I'm going to get around here, there's 2 diamond, there's 1 full diamond, but that's my 60-degree shot. So when I see a shot when it looks like this and I'm in play, I'm going to take my cue and I'm going to aim straight ahead and see, okay, there's my 1 ball clearance and then there's my safety clearance. So you see how that becomes, and now I'm going to go up to 60 degrees. Okay, the same is going to be true for what happens if I go 1.5 diamonds. If I'm going to go 1.5 diamonds, how do I know what that looks like? Well, just set it up like this when you're practicing. And go, well, that's what it looks like. So in order to get around that, I shoot straight ahead. That's 1.5 diamonds. So from 1 diamond, I'm going to jack up 30 degrees. Excuse me, from a half diamond, I went to 30. Then I went to 45. Then I went to 60. And then the same is going to be true when you're going to get around 75 degrees. I'm going to shoot straight ahead. This is going to look pretty much like this here. So you can see in reality That's what the shot might look to me like. I'm going to aim straight ahead at the diamond across. Okay, the last part of this, to try to make sure everybody's getting the common sense of this, not every shot is masseing to a pocket. So if I had to hit this 11 ball and it's actually out here in mid-table somewhere, like that, and then here's my cue ball, and my opponent has an object ball like there, okay? Now, it's not very difficult to figure that the approximate distance between these two balls, if I compare it going across the table, it's 3 diamonds wide as opposed to 4. That's okay. You're going to make a minor adjustment, which during your practice, you're going to make those compensation adjustments. But as I look at this, what I want you to understand is, in order to get around this, I'm going to need to make sure I visually see a ghost blocker ball. And then I'm going to see this is my actual passage ball. So when I aim this way, I'm looking at the distance from the tip of my cue all the way to where that ball is. And when I do that, check it out. What do you discover? You discover, oh wow, check it out. That's 1 diamond. That's a distance of 1 diamond. So if I aim here, I've got to do 1 full diamond. What did I learn? 30 degrees is a half a diamond, 60 degrees. And I do know that in order to make this shot, 45 degrees, excuse me, 30, 45. So I know that I'm going to aim this way. I'm going to elevate 45 degrees. Get used to, not 90, from 0 to 90, 45. That's the elevation to make that. And you can see those as you work this out more and more. Give yourself the ability to practice with stripes. Use stripe balls as your cue balls. After you're done hitting the ball, pick it up and look and see if your chalk mark was clean. If you're not getting the curve on the ball that it's supposed to get, maybe your speed is off. Go back and check your shot speed. Okay? Do this. All right, listen, I want to thank you so much for this. This was an important lesson. When you can jump with your playing cue, remember I taught you last week, go back and look at the show. You can make a quarter ball jump, a third ball jump, a half ball jump. Your cue, depending on the hardness or softness of the tip that you play with, is going to impact that. But when you can't seem to get the clearing to pocket the ball, maybe you just need to hit the ball, then you're going to switch from jumping with your playing cue to masse with your playing cue, and that's going to make all the difference in the world. Hey, anybody, a couple of people have been asking me about sliders. You love those? And remember, Prime Custom Cues, PrimeCustomCues.com. Get your Optimus shaft. If you're sick and tired of missing shots you don't know why you missed, 9 out of 10 pool players can't see the center of the cue ball at center. You're already adding squirt to the cue ball. There's the problem with the Optimus Prime shaft, the Optimus. Get it. I created the zero deflection performance tapering technology. Our carbon fiber tapering is designed specifically so when you apply up to 3 tips of English, 1, 2, or 3 tips of English to either side, the cue ball tracks right back at center automatically. It's not low deflection. There is no such thing as low deflection. That's marketing nonsense. Anytime you hit anything on the side of it, it's going to squirt, especially a cue ball. Now you get it. So it's a marketing gimmick. Predator started it and everybody else jumped on the bandwagon for years. The ZDP technology, zero deflection performance tapering. It calculates the compensation of the deflection and puts the cue ball back at center. The only reason you do miss is your aim was actually off in the first place. Otherwise, you start at center, you apply your English, you shoot, cue ball squirts back to center. And that's the big difference with PrimeCustomCues.com, the Optimus shaft. It's going to make you a better pool player by one ball at least just getting it. All right. For the rest of you, thanks. I appreciate it. I still have many more letters to look at. A lot of other questions. I'll go ahead and do those on the next shows. Love you guys. God bless you. Remember, that's the drill instructor way. So aim straight, shoot straight, split the pockets. And I'll see you again real soon. God bless you. Bye-bye.